Recently, I've been pondering this question. Who am I? How do you answer this question? Is it where you grew up? Where you went to school? Your job, your career, your goals, your passion? Is it what you eat? Your hobbies? Your preferences? Maybe it's your values or your religious identity. Is it your sports team? Your beliefs? Political views?
Is it based off the people you surround yourself with? Those in your circle? Maybe it's based off of what others think, how your loved ones view you. So what is it? You know those seasons in life when you're doing a lot of reflecting? I remember this time when I was feeling really stressed, lost. Even though I had started a new job, I was also in the process of letting go of this dream of directing that I had pursued for so long. I was also trying to get back into dating, putting myself back out there, but catching a lot of L's. Life doesn't feel like it's clicking, and I'm asking myself, am I okay? I feel like there's a couple ways, a few angles that I look at this question. There is maybe the more superficial side of it, where we kind of look at external validators. Maybe it's job, school, how much money do you have? Are you married? Your status, the profession you chose. And then there's another angle where we're asked to look inward. I think there's a lot of narratives that say, you gotta dig deep, you gotta look inside and figure out who you are, who you really are. What are the internal characteristics that we choose? Is it core values, beliefs, ideologies, motivations? And even as someone who believes in God, I think that's part of this question as well too is, who does God see me as? We find some divine external voice that speaks to kind of our internal being. And I think it's beautiful because there's a sense of meaning, purpose, value, unconditional love that's given from this kind of higher power. And then I guess that kind of leads me to maybe a very pragmatic side of this conversation where one of the books I really enjoyed was Atomic Habits. And the author James Clear talks about this idea of embodying an identity and then adopting the habits associated with that identity.
Your habits are how you embody a particular identity. If you make your bed each morning, you embody the identity of someone who's clean and organized. If you study biology every Tuesday night for 20 minutes, you embody the identity of someone who is studious. So the more that you act in a particular way, it's like the more you reinforce being a certain type of person. A better question to ask is not what results do I want, but what type of person could get those results? What type of identity do I need to have to be that person?
I still find it very complicated because at many different times in my life, I'm trying to figure out what is that practical thing that I'm supposed to do. How do you know which voice to listen to or which voice to reject? Is it something we've been told? Is that society? God has many children, but we don't have that same mission, same calling, same expression of life. How do I choose what that looks like? What does that mean?
You smart. You very smart. You loyal.
That's not really who you are.
I found most people don't know who they are.
Who am I? And what do I want?
The reason why a lot of people won't become who they want is because they're too attached to who they've been.
Your identity is not going to come from your feelings. It's going to come from the feelings you choose. And why are you choosing some and not others?
You don't really know what you can do. You could choose 12 different paths. It can be very confusing and very overwhelming.
When you make a career your identity or a particular love relationship your identity, those things stop being good things and they start to crush you.
That's choreographed, and that is practice, and that is what you've decided is the coolest way from your point of view. But the minute that you trip and fall, that's who you are.
Who are you? The question is, who are you?
I thought I knew. Now I'm not so sure.
I think I really struggle with this question because for most of my life, I feel like I've had a very deep sense of purpose and meaning. And a lot of that was driven through maybe some more tragic things that happened to me. When I was in first grade, my dad passed away from cancer. I was so young, I didn't really fully understand what was going on. My mom did a great job of raising us. She made it feel like we didn't lack anything. But then in college, my mom also passed away from cancer. And it's really surreal. Maybe it was my way of coping, maybe it was my way of giving myself purpose, but I felt this really deep need and sense to prove myself. That I had to live a life that was impactful, maybe extraordinary. Live a life that would honor their passing, their legacy, to validate that their efforts, their sacrifices weren't wasted. My life had to mean something. But as the years passed, it didn't quite feel like my life was moving in the direction and trajectory that I thought it was supposed to move. Every failure, every mistake seemed to accentuate that I wasn't moving towards this identity that I thought I had. And I think what made it even harder was that I did feel this sense of divine purpose. I felt like my intentions were in the right place. I felt my heart was in the right place. I thought I had worked hard. I thought I had been diligently working at this vision that I had, but things weren't working out. The question of who I am, I think it's a good question, but I also feel like it's an incomplete question. One, I feel like it's really impossible to answer. There's so many frameworks on how you can kind of look at this question, whether it's the external or the internal, the combination of both. But I feel like the one realization that I had was that overly worrying about my identity wasn't going to help me out. There was a moment when I gave myself the space to let go of any identity. Who we are is not one defined place and one defined moment. We're constantly changing. My views 6 months ago, a year ago, 5 years ago, 10 years ago, has shifted over this time. Who I'm going to be tomorrow is not who I'm going to be today. And for me to worry so much about this singular identity that I was trying to define myself with only crushed me more and more. And so I feel like I've been able to adopt this openness to life, openness to this journey of life. I want to believe that tomorrow can be better than today. Even if all these things that I've wanted to do haven't come to fruition, that there's still potential and possibilities that could happen tomorrow. Life is hard. Life can be confusing. Sometimes things don't make sense. But we're still on this journey of life. And there's opportunities to create something, do something different in the future. If I could tell my younger self something, I want to let them know, you're doing a great job. You may not have all the answers, you may not know why things have happened, but you're just taking steps closer to whatever you're meant to do. And I believe that. I believe that all the steps that I've taken up to this place have meaning, have purpose, that they shape me for who I am today. And that's something that no one can take away from you. What's up, guys? Thank you so much for watching. It's been such a fun journey of making these videos this past year, and I appreciate everyone who's watched, especially watching all the way to the end. Do all the things, like, comment, subscribe, run up the algorithm. We're still growing, but appreciate everyone. Thank you.